Hey, my name is Mike, and this is a too-long didn't-read version of Kilrogg Deadeye on Mythic. Salivating Bloodthirster ads will spawn out of the caves on the left and right side. They'll travel towards where the boss was before you pulled him. If they reach this area, they become a hulking terror. One Bloodthirster will spawn on that area and instantly become a terror. Hulking terrors put fell corruption on people, which is a dot that deals more damage the more corruption you have. It's presented as an additional resource bar. If your corruption bar gets full, you get mind controlled. Make sure you're interrupting Rending Howl because it's a raid-wide AoE. Each interrupt makes the next cast faster. And they also have a frontal cone ability called Savage Strikes, which applies corruption to everyone that's hit. The terror will apply 40 corruption to their tank periodically. When these terrors die, they deal damage to anyone within 10 yards, and they also apply 40 corruption to those players. They also leave a green puddle on the ground that needs to be soaked. There's no damage from standing in these puddles, but if you do stand in it, you get 6 corruption per second. If this is not soaked, a fell blood glob will spawn from it during death throws. Kilrogg puts shred armor on the tanks. This increases the damage dealt by this ability for 40% per stack, but if you have active mitigation when this goes out, you don't get a debuff. A random person gets targeted for Heartseeker and you'll see an arrow coming out of the boss. After 5 seconds, the boss throws a sword towards them and anyone that's hit by this gets a dot. This dot will last the entire fight and can be dispelled with Hand of Protection. At about 50% health, Kilrogg will start selecting 2 people for Heartseeker. Anyone that's hit with Heartseeker will spawn a Blood Glob ad. This ad just moves towards the boss, and if it gets to the boss, it does a raid-wide AoE. If a person with Corruption gets hit by Heartseeker, a fell Blood Glob spawns instead. It has more health than the other ad, and if it gets to the boss, it deals twice as much raid-wide damage and also heals the boss for 15%. Kilrogg does death throws, which causes these green swirlies to spawn, which you don't stand in. It also applies fell corruption to the raid as it's happening, and anyone that stands in the swirly will get more. During Vision of Death, the boss will spawn 3 runes around him. If one person stands in each of the runes, they get teleported to another realm. In this realm, there's just a countless wave of ads. These ads explode when they die. The only way for you to leave this area is if Khadgar dies or if you reach 1 health. Once you get teleported out, you have about a 1.5 debuff that doesn't let you go back in. Also, when you leave the realm, you get a 60-second buff. For every ad that you killed inside, you have a 10% damage increase, stacking up to 20. And healers have their healing increased by 10% per stack as long as they're in here. Healers also get this aura around them that reduces the corruption of anyone standing in it, and it also lasts 60 seconds. My guild had all the ranged and healers stacked up on one side of the room. This made easier healing through the Heartseeker dot as well as cleansing people's corruption. The ranged were still in charge of killing the Bloodthirsters and the Globs. If either of these started to get too close to their destination, melee would help out. The terrors were tanked on Kilrogg until they got low in health. At this point, the tank would kite them away from everyone so it could explode. Someone may need to follow the tank to ensure that Rending Howl gets interrupted. The puddle that spawned was soaked up by 2 of the 3 people that were going into the upcoming Visions of Death. The reason we use 2 people is because if only one person soaks it, they'll go up to about 90 corruption. This could very easily lead to them being mind controlled. The healer from the Visions group would reduce the melee's corruption first before going into the ranged. There's multiple opportunities to use your offensive cooldowns. My guild preferred to use it at the start of the fight. Defensive cooldowns can be used for death throws, or if you're doing the Visions. That was a too-long didn't read version of Kilrogg Deadeye and Mythic. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know down below in the comments. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day.